Welcome back to Live Design. Today we are focusing on absolute beginners answering a simple question. How quickly can someone go from zero experience to their first SolidWorks model? I'm joined by SolidWorks Champion Lennart Tinndahl, who is going to build that model while
Yeah, it's great to be here.
I'm joined by SolidWorks Champion Lennart Tinndahl, who is going to build that model while defending hot takes about learning CAD with SolidWorks design. Leonard, let's start with the first one.
Yeah,
If you can build a Lego set, you can learn SolidWorks.
yeah.
It feels- Can you explain yourself?
If I can explain, yeah, I think so. See, I'm just going to share my screen here. Uh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, if you can build a Lego set, I would say you can easily learn SolidWorks. So let's see if I can just. There we go. So, my. There we go. Okay. So one of the first issues people usually find when they work with SolidWorks, when they start up the program, is where do I click? When when they really should be wondering is what do I want to build? Now the same thing can be said about Legos. When you have all of your different Lego blocks, you usually think, okay, what can I build? But uh, for that, you have the boxes where you can see exactly what you can build with these specific blocks.
Yeah.
So once you have decided what you want to build, in this case, we want to build this, there are a few more things. So Lego, of course, comes with a bunch of instructions, which allows you to build your model. However, in SolidWorks, we do not have instructions. What we do have is you. You are the one creating the instructions. So in Lego, of course, I said you have the instructions, but SolidWorks has the feature tree. Also, Lego has the bricks, and SolidWorks, of course, has all of our features and components. One of the other differences between SolidWorks and Lego, but still very viable, I think, is the fact that Lego takes place in the physical world on a table or something similar, but SolidWorks, of course, takes place in a virtual environment. But no matter if you're building with Lego or you're building in SolidWorks, the foundations are the basics are the same. You start off with your foundation. Next, you have some details of some sort, and then you finish off with some sort of repetition. That could be because you need some sort of pattern or something. So you finish off with that. So, but instead, I want to show you, I think, unless there's any questions.
And in fact, I really like this approach because, especially for someone who is new to SolidWorks, this can actually add a lot of value to start with very basics. And this analogy of Lego with SolidWorks, I think I'm going to love that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start off by building something simple. I have these three components. Once I'm done with them, we will have something like this, which I think we all know. So let's jump into SolidWorks. Going to that screen. There we go.
Super.
So
Yeah.
yes, okay. So SolidWorks is very easy to get started with. Basically, oh, hang on. This one comes, there we go. So want to start a part or an assembly, so we do that.
Yeah.
So now I want to start off with creating, hang on, and creating these studs here. Start with that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start off by creating a sketch and on my plane. And if we go,
And as you mentioned, in Lego, we have our table here, we have our planes to start with. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our virtual table where we work with everything. Now we have the advantage that we actually get to produce the pieces before. So if anything don't match, we can just make it match, which I'll also show you. So we're just going to use this, and I'm going to use the trim tool, and there we go. Go. Okay. Click the chain.
Yeah.
And equal. So old habit. So and
yeah.
Go and extrude boss base. So I think for this, I think I'm just going to keep it simple and don't do a lot of fillets. So we're just going to make it a very, very simple model here.
Yeah.
So this one, let's see, we don't have, okay, so we can, okay, so this is the first one. I'm just going to save it. And we're going to call, there we go. So next, I want to create the center, this one.
Okay.
Also again, we go in, just create a brand new part. Again, it is very easy to, I think it's, I really love how easy it is to get started with this. I will get more into later, as we talked about sketches. I will get more into that. But for now, let's just see if we can do this and equal. Oh. And for good measure, I want to use this and then say, 25, not stem.
Yeah, because I still remember creating my first extrude. Always I try to use the mid plane.
Yeah. It's that is a good, I think it's a good rule of thumb to do that. Let's see, I'm just going to go here again. This one I'm going to use often. So right now I just realized I maybe should have made it a library feature so I could just use that. But it's always easy to to see. There we go. Hang on. Just need to think here. Oh yeah. So
as you have said, it's always easy to repurpose the content we have already created.
Exactly. So I'm just going to go here.
Yeah.
So we are going to go with the trim once again. So there we go. I mean, many of these things I'm doing here can, of course, also easily apply to the to some of the other topics we are looking into. But let's see. So go here and equal. Go. Yeah, but I think also that's one of the things. That was actually some of the first things when I started working. When I started using SolidWorks in school, one of the first things I started sketching was actually Lego pieces, because it was easy to measure them, of course. So it wasn't there wasn't a whole lot of work in that. So I used that a lot in the beginning. But Lego has always been it's a wonderful well, both toy but also educational, I would say. So we're just going to mirror this and copy. Can we select? No, we can't. Of course not. Hang on, just going. Yeah. Hang on, just going to mirror it about that one.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Cut and
yeah. I think it's a nice move to select the contours. Yeah.
I think that's the easiest way to get this. So now I could, of course, just create these sketches again, but instead we are going to create some axes for us.
Okay.
And because now I want to rotate them all instead. So go here and create one more. And oh, that was the plane. Hang on. There we go. And
Yeah, I believe this is a great approach to instead of creating it on all other faces to do a
yeah, we're just
pattern.
going to do a circular pattern on this. So
Circular
we're going to
pattern,
access to, and we're going to yes, and we want this one. Perfect. And now we also want another pattern.
Yeah.
Another circular pattern, and we're going to be using this one. And
Gotcha.
so now we just want to hang on. Just want to skip.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Features. Go. Skip. Let's see. Which one do I want to skip? Neither. Okay. Ah.
Yeah.
There we go. Just got a bit too say. Huh. Hang on. So this isn't. So let's see. This is the problem with doing live, right? Let's see. Let's go to delete this.
Yeah, I know it
And
happens.
then okay, so we go down. Okay, so now we say pattern circular,
And circular,
and we just want this one. I think is
yeah, this one should be fine.
and then say just to skip. We want to skip. Nope, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Now we have it. Okay. So we call this center.
Yeah.
Perfect. And finally, we're going to make the block here.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going here, center.
And I remember when I used to teach SolidWorks, this was the first thing that I used to enforce my students to use is the centered rectangle. It's always
Exactly.
so easy to, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, you have to do that. I would say. So we're just going to create a quick sketch. So there, no. Center. And equal.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, now right click. And construction.
Yeah.
And if we just create this one again. So you think I'm getting used to this by now, right?
Yeah.
I've done these a few times now. Then, okay, right click. Like chain. That's great thing. We just like chain, just make all these equal, and that's it.
Awesome. It's a nice tip, yeah.
Sorry?
Do chain. It's a nice tip to do a chain selection and then just hit the equal.
Yeah, it's for this, it's very useful, I would say. So now instead of measuring, I'm just going to find this point and control this point.
Yeah.
And coincident. There we go. And because I've centered it, as we talked about, I can just use. There we go. Use this. Oh, hang on. I just want to do one thing. I want to create an offset of 0.5. There we go. Now I want to mirror the sketch.
Got you. Yeah.
And come. Oh, not move. Wow. Mirror. There we go.
Yeah.
And just select all that.
Yeah.
So let's see. And we want to mirror it about. So now it's going to get weird, I think, because let's see.
Yeah. Lennart, we are getting a question on YouTube. Can you explain a bit about the trimming tool? What are the different options available there? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So we're just going to go in here, the trimming trees. So you have the power trim, Okay, I'm just going to create a quick sketch here. I think it's much easier if I do that. So we just delete that afterwards. So there. I think, yes. So first off, we of course have the power trim. This allows you to simply hold down your left mouse button and then just move over the ones you want to trim. Also, and then we have the corner, so it will trim to the closest corner. So just click here, it will, hang on, and then I select which corner I want to trim to. So if I select here, there's nothing. Oh, there we go. So that trims to that closest. So if we go back to our trim away. Okay, that's see if can we do that. Hang on, maybe I can. There we go. I'm just going to create something here.
Yeah.
So we have there we go. We have the trim away on the inside. So trim away on the inside is a tool that allows you to say, okay, I want to trim everything from here. So let's see if we can get this going. So it goes to within this line. It takes
within these guide rails. Yeah.
Trim away outside. Well, if we see if we can get this, it's a diff. So there we go. So that's not. So it won't. It'll just use these two and then trims everything outside of these two. So I can also trim. No, this one because it's not connected. And then you have the trim to closest. So this one would just trim to the closest. Okay. You just trim to that. Maybe it would be easy if I just go.
Got you.
And say that. So if I go trim to closest here, it will. Yes, we want to do that. Then we also have a few more options here. We have seen if I can keep my trim entries as construction geometry, if I for some reason want that.
Got you.
And then we also have the one I'm using right now a lot, that you should ignore the construction geometry, because then I can keep that within my drawing. So if we just delete that.
Thanks for digging into the trim tool. I think especially for beginners, it's gonna add a lot of value while.
Yeah, I think it's Okay, so now I'm going to do the extrude, and I just want this to be 5 millimeters. So I'm not going to add color to this for now. We're just going to make it a quick one. But if you just add the say side. So now I want to start with the assembly. And I know, as I said, we need to start off with the foundation. So I want to start with my center. The easiest way to do this with this is just to make assembly from part. And I just want to graphics preview. I want to add that too, so I can see what exactly it is I'm doing. So I want to add this to the center, so I could potentially made it, but I will do that afterwards. But if you know exactly you want your model to be in the center of everything, all you need to do is to click the green check mark up here, press OK, and then these will be say top plane. So all of these will then be linked to each other, full defined. So now we need to just insert a new component. We need to insert the stud here. And so again, now we're back with Legos, because we have the box and then want to insert this. So the easiest way is to use what we call mates, which is the kind of things that makes the mod stick together. Again, so now I'm mating to the point where I want this, and then I can mate this one. So now, right now, the model, this one cannot move. The selected the component is fixed, but this one can still move in this direction. So we don't want that.
Got you.
So what we want is this, and then click mate. So there's also there's also a few more mates that are available. I think I've made some videos about it, but yeah. So these are the basic mates we use. For this one, we are only going to use the connect mate. But now we are actually ready to use these to create ourselves a pattern. So we start off by creating. I just want to start off by creating a linear pattern. I want this one to be over there, and see if I can. So I just want to go here. And we want to
this one and select this feature.
This
Part.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, too much. Yeah, too much. See if I go. I think. Oh, I can't remember exactly here. 12.5, I think. Yeah, 12.5. That's it. Okay.
5, yeah.
So while doing that, now we are able to use a few more of these components again. But I'm just going to wait a bit with that actually, because now I want to insert the side and go.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And again, pretty much the same. Made them like you would usually click them on within your Legos. There we go.
Wow.
To the bottom, and then we take. I think I may have. Okay, let's see. There we go. There we go. Oh, it seems to work. Take that one, and that one. Made. Perfect. So now I'm ready to start my. Now I'm ready to start my my components here. So we take the circular component again.
Gotcha.
The great thing about this is that I'm not limited to what's in the assembly. I can also use the axis I created earlier. So I'm just going to use this one and just going to use this axis. And the component I want to pattern is this, and this. But we don't want that. We want, of course, equal spacing, and we want and we have 4. So that's good.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that's so now we can of course already see that I may have made these a bit too long, but that's actually fully intentional. So if we just make another, let's see, there we go. Oh, hang on, did I? Okay, so let's make another circular component here, and we want see if I can find this.
Yeah, I think it's
that one. I think.
No,
let's see.
That's going to be XS1, I believe.
Yeah. Perfect. And we just say equal to say 4 again. So now, but I don't want. But now, right now, I don't want to add one more on top of that. Then that'll just ruin our whole bill of materials. So I'm just going to remove that. Okay. So now I have this. Which is okay, but I think we might need some, there might be a distance issue here, so we can just go here, say, what is the distance? If I'm just going to use the measure tool.
Yeah.
We just go here, and there we go. So here I can see that the distance there's 35.5 millimeters too much.
35.5.
Yeah, so we just go to open our part here, go here. So I could, of course, sit and calculate, but instead I'm just going to say minus 35.5.
Yeah.
And say, hang on, where did you go? There we go. And nope.
The next one, yeah.
There we go. Yeah. And that's So and that's it. And then all we need to do, if we want to, of course, is to add our SolidWorks stickers. If we want to, just going to go to really quick here. We go here, and we want. Hang on, just need to make sure it's wow. So that doesn't want to work with me right now, I think. Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so hang on. That's kind of weird. I'm just going to go. Okay.
But I think within no time you have created a complete assembly with all the blocks put together. So you are comparing a professional engineering tool to Lego.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
I mean, it's to me, it's as I said, it is how I got started using it. So, I mean, I also think when I usually think, as we can see, I also work with Lego a bit my free time. I can't help but think, okay, if I do this in SolidWorks, so for me, it has become a quick and natural part of it.
Got you. Yeah.
That gives one piece of advice below. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a good question. I don't know if people's. The funny thing is, I actually have an answer for that, but that's later in my presentation. So, Ian, I'm going to have to answer that later.
Got you.
But
Yeah.
so stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of nice stuff to follow up. Yeah.
Mhm.
So do we move to the second
Yeah.
part of the
Let's
day?
yeah. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can do that from here. So
Yeah. So I believe fully defined sketches are not optional.
no. I mean, I don't even think I have to explain why, but I can try. No. When you have
Yeah.
worked, a bit of background on me. I work a lot in support for SolidWorks users, and when you have done that, you learn to really enjoy the fully defined sketch, no doubt. But first, I think we should start off by looking into, especially since we most likely have beginners, what do we mean by a fully
Yeah.
defined sketch? So a sketch has 3 points of definition. A sketch, of course, can be underdefined, which can be
Got you.
seen in your SolidWorks with the little minus in front of the, a minus here in front of the sketch.
Hmm.
Which, and on your computer, it's just blue. So that's not good. We don't want that. Next, we of course have the overdefined sketch, which can be recognized by the plus sign, and usually it has a very greenish color.
Yeah.
Want to say, and then a little warning sign. So, and you can usually see this by it's basically yellow, and you can't move anything,
Got
and it'll come, and you'll get warnings. So we don't want that neither, of course. Finally, we have the fully defined sketch. So the fully defined sketch can be recognized like that. It no signs in front or behind it, so everything looks good, and it's just one black sketch. We really do like that.
you. Yeah.
So
So Lennart, before we move
yeah,
forward, so can we create a model without making a sketch fully defined?
yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can, but it lacks. You can easily risk, and I'll also demonstrate this. You can easily risk that everything just goes haywire. I mean, it lacks. It lacks your decisions. A fully
Okay.
defined sketch
Yeah.
is actually in my book is clear cut decisions on what you want to do with it. So you of course you can do it. You can create a model,
Hmm.
but you can also risk a lot of different issues with that model. If you just happen to pull one sketch or do one another, then of course you can. So, but yeah.
So just to be a devil's advocate,
Mhm.
so I had a question in mind. Isn't this an overkill for a beginner to make sure that the sketches should be fully defined? If the model looks right, why do they even care? I believe you are going to answer this in the next maybe 10
No,
15
but
minutes.
no, but why even? Yeah, why care? I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it takes a long time to fully define a sketch, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's but it takes a longer time to to correct your model afterwards.
Got
Then
you.
you have because then you have to find, because let's say for instance you don't fully define a sketch,
Hmm.
and then after a few years you start working on it again, and then everything just goes nuts. And then you have to track down, okay, what did I do here? What did I do here? How? So a fully defined sketch will make it a lot easier. And as you can see here, this is actually why I
Hmm.
have here fully defined sketch. Everything's okay, fully defined. That's right. um, Fully defined sketch, yay or nay. So what have we got? So
Yeah. So we have a couple of comments and questions. So
yeah,
one
okay.
was fully defined sketch means it's okay, and then Rohit asked a question: if we are using cut extrude and we know what that it is not the change in the feature, can we cut it without it being fully defined?
I mean, you can always do that. But again, we know it's not going to change, but then
Hmm.
something happens if it, when for instance if that component is part of another thing,
Uh,
and you change that. And so to me, that's it's not a very secure way to work. So I would always recommend fully define, because when you fully define your sketch, you have predictable behavior. You have all changes will be well in control. You have a stable geometry. You have an easy to understand and also easy to control. But of course, there are also cons on using a fully defined sketch. So let's see what those are.
Oh, there is no con?
No. Well, not in a work environment. It might take, as we said, it might take some extra time. But I think SolidWorks actually has some pretty cool tools to help you fully define these sketches faster, which I will show you just shortly.
Sure.
So I think it would take a lot longer time to correct these sketches than it would take to define them. So, and again, we go back to design intent. Good design intent is part of a fully defined sketch. So, and what is design intent? Design intent is control, and the same thing can be said for a fully defined sketch. That is also control. So I'm just going to double check something here. And, okay. But how do we fully define a sketch easily? I mean, a fully defined sketch actually only consists of two things. It's relations between all of your lines, dimensions. That's it. Those are the two things you need to start looking into when you learn about fully defined sketch. So if we look at, hang on, if we just go to SolidWorks and see what have we got here. So I'm just going to, okay, let's take this. Okay, we take this. I don't care. I'm just going to, there we go. Okay. Now this one was actually kind of easy, of course, I'm just going to create a new one. So as you can see, there are a lot of different relations. These here are relations. So if we go, okay, and maybe I can just, if I just do a quick sketch here, I'm just going to, so if I just, why is my mouse acting up? There we go. So now we are going to create something horrendous.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing here is, hang on, just need to see where I am here. Okay, I'm there. So this is actually the same number of lines that we had on this one. Okay. But the problem is these are not, you can do this one, I can't move it because it's fully defined. This one, this one is not. So what you can do is you can apply different relations to it. So we know, for instance, this one will match that one. So we could easily just say, okay, so we want that one to be horizontal. And so, this one are the sides. So we want those to be vertical. And but this one I know is this line here is the same as this line. So I'm just going to say it's not only should it be vertical, but it should also make collinear on this one. So so this one will, and the same thing of course applies with this one. And there we go. Now we're already getting somewhere. So now we can see it's not the horrendous thing.
Yeah, so we are getting very close. Yeah.
Yeah, we are getting much closer. So we're just going to say horizontal, still not good, I would say. And then we take this one and say collinear. Oh, hang on. There we go. Maybe. So let's see if I did something wrong here. There's something here. What's that? There we go, I think. Let's see. Oh, wow. So, see, this is why it also can be a bit tricky to do this. So, let's see. So if we just go like that. Okay, I just messed it up big time, I think. So the great thing is, if you start messing these things up, so what you can do is you can go into display, delete relation. So here we have a great list on, we have dangling, that's relations that doesn't have any connections anymore, overdefined. So if there's any point in this says something overdefined, then with the overdefined sketch, they will be shown here. And we actually, we have an external. Okay, so maybe I'll link something weird here. I'm just going to delete that. Okay. see if I. Nope, this one is just completely. Wow. Okay. Let's see. So we're just going to delete those. Let's see if we
Yeah.
can do anything now. Wow. Hang on. There we go. I think. There we go.
Yeah. Now
Okay. Yeah. But you get the picture. Now, when it comes to dimensioning, okay, I think I maybe have. Oh. When it comes to dimensioning, I mean, of course, no one wants to sit and go click here. There we go. Now, instead, SolidWorks has a few tools for us. So if we right click on this, right click on any what's called a line. If we go to not replace entry sketch. Hang on, where is it? Preview sketch dimension. So,
Lennart, before we move forward,
yeah.
there is a comment by Prasad. Excited for this episode.
Oh, nice. Hello,
Yeah.
Prasad.
Yeah.
A little late, but we watch it. Okay. Let's see. So now I have something turned on. So I'm just going to click here. So if I just click on this one now, I still. Oh no, hang on, that one was already. So because I had the preview sketch, it already has it ready for me, so I can just click there. So I don't have to start the dimension tool. The same thing can also be applied if you just want to sketch from the beginning. So if we go into our options, and hang on, I'm just going to go here to sketch, and we want to enable on-screen input and create dimension only when a value is entered. So if I use that, I can now say, okay, I want this one to be 30, and press the tab, and then I want this one to be 10. So
that really saves my life. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does make it a lot faster. So it's while it can be okay. I mean, I may have gone a bit overboard with this one. I would say with this one, but it doesn't have to be a whole lot of hassle to make your sketch fully defined. The main thing is that you know that it should be locked somewhere to this origin.
Yeah.
But even let's see. All right, hang on. One thing we can also. But even if you, for instance, say, okay, let's say, for instance, we had someone just before who said, well, what if we're never going to change that? Do we need to fully define it? In that case, I would, if you know, okay, this is just going to stay here, then you can just use the fully defined sketch tool, actually. So
yes.
that will actually allow you, so that will say, okay, where do we want our baseline? We want it to be locked to the origin, but if there are other sketches or other components, you can log it to that. So we want that. So we say, okay, and then it will just go. There we go. So now just created.
Yeah.
It's locked there, and you can still change to some degree, of course. I mean, you can see this has just gone bananas. But you can still change it. So if you want this to be 0, I don't know if you can. Yeah, we can say 0. Perfect. So if you want to, so using the fully defined sketch tool allows you to do just that, to ensure that the sketch is fully defined.
Got you. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's a great tool, a fully defined sketch that especially help the new users to get them to the black entities or the fully defined sketch much faster. Yeah.
I would also say one more thing. If you often find yourself, okay, I usually forget to fully define my sketch, then SolidWorks has another tool for you. So just type in, so we have this one here, use fully defined sketches. So so if I turn that on and I go just create a new sketch, and there we go. Now it's not because I'm lazy, I just forget it sometimes, to fully define my sketch. So okay, all good, and nope, you can't do it because it requires a fully defined sketch. So you can set up your own reminder in case I usually forgot. And then if you're in a hurry, I mean, of course I understand if you are in a hurry, you usually just forget to turn it on. You just forget to create them, and that's understandable. But go back for your own sake and make sure they're fully defined for the next user also.
Got you. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. So should we go to the next one? I think.
Yeah, I think let's go to the next
Yeah.
one. So the next one says
Sketches are more important than features.
3D features. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we can turn that around and also ask the audience, are sketches more important than features? So in my book, they are. So why is that? So, yeah,
Um,
sorry.
but but,
Yeah,
but again, being a devil's advocate,
of
so
course.
most people think SolidWorks is about making 3D geometry. So how can sketch possibly be more important than the actual 3D part? And I really want to understand that.
Of course. No. Well, if you want to create something in SolidWorks, we have this, and then we have actually fun. So we have all of these great tools at our disposal. But how would you get started using them without a sketch?
Yeah,
So without a sketch, we can't do anything. I mean, can insert, but yeah. So the features help you build your model, no doubt about it, and that's what it does best. But I would say that the sketches help you decide how the model should be built. And for that, I have actually. I want to talk about these three lovely components on how your sketches can affect what sort of feature you're going to use. So if we go to, just going to turn all this off, don't save, don't save, don't save, oh wow, that doesn't look good. Okay, just go and see, don't save. Okay, so we're just going to, so if we're going to have a look at the first one.
yeah.
So the first one I did here. Let's see, just going to have a look at it. It's a tube with a little groove here in the middle. So, I mean, most people would most likely start by, no, hang on, just going to have my look at my notes here, just to be sure I do it properly, you know.
Yeah.
So most people would probably start by creating a circle and then creating another circle. And this one is going to be, let's see, 30, I think I said. Hang on, yeah. Hang on, I'm just going to have a look at this just to make sure. Yeah, no, 50.
Yeah.
And we have a 4. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to make an extrude. And we're going to make that 60. Nope, we're going to make that 300.
300 and maybe mid plane.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, in this case, it usually, yeah. In this case, well, for this demonstration, it is not. Mid plane depends on what you're doing. I would say if you're going to the mid plane. For this one, it's not really essential, but let's just do that.
It's not essential.
No, not for this. But you need to consider when is it a good idea to use mid plane.
Mid plane.
So now we want to do the groove. I'm just going to create a sketch on this face. There we go. And so, and here we go. And we say that one. And that was, I think it was, oh, hang on. Go 2 millimeters.
Yeah.
So, and I want a groove within. So that's ready. So I'm just going to do the extrude cut. So first off, I want to flip so we get that one, and then I only want to do, I think it was 5 millimeters, but I don't want to create the cut there, so I'm just going to use an offset and then say 60.
Okay.
Maybe in the other direction, that'll help. Yes, sir. Okay, and now we have the groove in there. So that's two features with two different sketches, but I want to do this in only one sketch.
Okay.
So we're just going to create a new one. I think. There we go. So for this sketch, I'm going to be using a center line. I think. Let's see. Perfect. And then
yeah,
it's going to create. Now and then we said it was. So the great thing is with the center line is that I can, if I click here, I can say this, but since I want the diameter of the tube, I can just move down here.
Move down here, yeah.
Yeah, move down there, and then I can say that the complete dimension, which was 50.
50, yeah.
Yes.
Got you.
And this one was 4. Okay, wow. There we go. And again, 300.
300, yeah.
Yes. And then we, for good measure, because we want it fully defined. See if we can get this. See, now it tries to give me my, I don't want that. So see if we can. I'm just going to turn this off right now. Right now I don't want it. So perfect. Why? There we go. So now it's fully defined, and then I can just use the revolve feature, and then we have a tube. But we still need the groove.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So let's go back. That's one of the great things. We can just go back to our to our sketch here, and then we want to create the groove. So what we could do, I could of course just sketch the groove out here, and then trim everything away. But I can also use the jog feature. The jog feature is located within the sketch tools, and we have it here, jog line. But you know, being a good technician, I'm lazy, so instead I'm just going to press S. Oh, hang on. Just going to press S. I want to use this the shortcut key here. That applies. That's a great way to find all of your different shortcuts here. So we go to jog line.
You're not lazy. You are smart.
Yeah. Let's see. So, but now, so okay. So I think it can be kind of hard to see the yellow. Yeah, there's a bit of yellow there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's easier to
see.
Yeah.
I think this is the best use case of jog I have seen.
So this, what? Sorry.
This is the best use case of jog I have seen. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's good. So we take that, and then we say, here we go. And 60. Perfect. And we just, okay. And then that's it. And that's fixed. And that's done in only one sketch. So this time, again, the sketch decides the feature. So in my mind, that is more important. It is what makes the entire model.
Exactly. So I believe it's always, we need to have a little thought on before starting building a model, like what should be the optimum way to start it. Extrude or using revolve, and then accordingly we need to come up with the correct sketch.
Exactly. I mean, that is depending on what you exactly want to do. For instance, this one, I mean, both, there's nothing wrong with either of these ways of doing things. Both of them are correct, but it's just a matter of how you want to proceed and how you work. For me, I think it's kind of cool that you can do everything within one sketch.
Gotcha.
So if we look at, do we have time? Let's see. So if we look at the next one, oh, hang on. Okay, if we look at, I just going back a bit. There we go. We look at this one. I think that's one you did for the presentation. So, I mean, there's a couple of ways to do this. I mean, the easiest way would, of course, be first to, you know, we create a sketch here on the top plane. And then we do that, go here.
Yeah.
And we say here. So one thing also that's kind of funny, I think it's a setting within SolidWorks. So we can decide if you, because right now it says 2.5 millimeters, but if I change this to 80, it will not be enhanced. It just stay the same size. So I think that's kind of cool with the first dimension. So that matches. So we want that. I'm just going to have a quick look here at this one. And we want this to be, I don't know, 150, I think. That's good. No, not 15, 150.
150.
Yeah, there we go. And then just make a quick extrude. There we go. And then we can create ourselves a sketch here. And I'm just going to be, I can see we are a bit short on time, so I'm just going to be a bit quick about this. I think I need to check up on my mouse here. There we go. So, and we want this to be, we want this to be 40. No, I didn't. I didn't want this to be 40, sorry. No, I do. Sorry. See, there we go. And so now I'm just going to, okay, so we're going to do this and then have a height on that. So just hold down Shift and I can take the outer size here. I'm just going to have a look what I said. I think I said 60. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So now we can do this. We can say extrude again. And we want this sketch here. And we want this one. Hang on. And we just, and this time we don't want a mid plane because now we want to.
Got you. Yeah.
So we just want this, and we're just going to go. We're going to use the offset once again, and going to. There we go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Just do a quick one. Yeah. See. And then we can create a sketch, and there we go. And we say this one should be. I just want this to be 8.
Yeah.
And extrude cut.
Extrude cut here.
So, and just for good measure, we just say through all. So, okay. And that's okay. So, I mean, I think it's a bit too long, but yeah. So that's done using 3 features. But as I said before, I do enjoy it when we can do it with just one sketch. So let's see if we can do that before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
So once again, we go create a new sketch. And again. So this time it also makes sense actually that we do it all in the center, I would say. So here we go, with 10 and 75. I think that's more like it. So instead of doing, so now we can just do that here. And I just want go. And I'm just going to create.
Yeah.
So we are basically the same, much of the same things we did before, but now we're just going to do a few more things. Perfect. And so for some reason this one is not. Oh yeah, right. I forgot the height.
Yeah, the height. Yeah.
Yeah. Go and that's. And now I also want to add one more thing. Once again, we can use relations to ensure that this one will stick. So if I just click this one, this, I can use the concentric.
Concentric
So
relation,
yes. And then again, we use time and here, say 8.
8, yeah.
So now we have only one sketch. And to me, I think that's so cool when we can do that. So if I say bar extrude, for instance, then we want this one. So now we get, see, we want this one to be 100, I think. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
And then we do another bar extrude, and we take this sketch. Oh, hang on, I need to make sure it's, I knew it. Hang on.
Yeah, it should be visible. Yeah.
Yeah. Show, there we go. So now, hang on. Try again. Bar extrude.
Yeah.
Next sketch. We want that.
Yeah.
We want.
Yeah. Maybe you select in the select contour. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there we go. And we want this to be 20, and we once again use offset.
Offset, yeah.
Because then we don't have to create all those different planes and okay, where's that and everything. Oh, hang on, I just forgot one thing I can see.
Yeah.
See, we just need to.
Yeah, just remove those
Yeah.
controls. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think. I think that's. Let's see what happens.
yeah.
Nope, still nothing. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's see what's going on here.
So maybe just
There,
redo the
there,
section. Yeah.
and then this one. I
And
think
this one.
now. See, it's funny. It's still trying to select that one.
Yeah, I think
I think maybe I've been
the
too.
overall sketch is also selected, so that's the reason it's showing.
Yeah, I think so.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but these things. Yeah. So you know what? I'm just going to go so like that, and then
Yeah. Now it's perfect.
sometimes I think it just you just need to reselect
Be a
everything.
little careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, Leonard, I totally agree with you that sketches are important than 3D, and I think this also laid the basis of an engineer who is learning SolidWorks to be perfect in sketches, and he can leverage this art to create bigger assemblies as well. So whenever I talk about large assemblies, so my always go to is to develop it in such a way it should be skeleton driven, so it would be easier for you to manage those
Yeah.
large designs too. But if you think of creating those large designs, the basic is sketches. Yeah.
It is. It is. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just want to wrap up with something Ian asked me. What my
Sure.
first, what I really wanted to have learned earlier. So it's something it's something new I started. So I call it. See, I just call it the ABC of SolidWorks. And I think if we have someone from the chat who were in 3D Experience World 26, sorry, they might know exactly what it means. But in my mind, this is the most important thing you can learn when you're just getting started using SolidWorks. So that is basically just always be curious. So never be afraid to press those buttons. Never be afraid to try out the different tools, because you can learn a lot from those things. I mean, also just doing this, I've learned a few things about my extrude that we had here in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, and for me also, the biggest takeaway today is we need to be always curious, and the way you have shown, the if you can build a Lego set, yes, you can learn SolidWorks too. And also fully defined sketches are not optional. It is
No, it's not.
mandatory.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
it is
I mean,
mandatory. Yeah, and then I totally agree with you that sketches are more important than 3D features.
it is at
So
least to get started. Yes.
exactly. So before we wrap up, can we have any questions? If there are any questions in the comments, so Sean and Ian, if there are any, we can go through those. Else we will just wrap it up. Yeah. Okay, so it seems we are all good. So first of all, thank you so much, Lennart, for sharing your valuable experience
Of
with
course.
the audience today. And I really love the way you have explained the basics of SolidWorks to our budding, I can say, SolidWorks professionals. So with this, let's come to the end of the show today.
Yeah.
So subscribe and like this episode if you have learned anything. So it's the most functional way to say thank you on YouTube. So we will be back next month. See you then.